Hello and welcome people back to more of Koudelka. This episode I'm gonna be dealing with a gargoyle. It's not something you need to do in order to complete the story. So if you're not interested in the fight, you can skip it. I'm gonna be, from a certain point onwards, I'm gonna be speeding through it. This time around. Yes, actually that is going to work this time around. And also, it is important to change your weapon to the iron crossbow, simply because while it has, while you can shoot it not quite as often as you can swing your sword, it gives you better stats, and also it has 100% chance of putting the enemy a row back, which is very important for this fight. And yeah, the only normal looking enemy in the game.
Well, normal by this game standards at least.
Exactly. So, one important thing, if you're low level like I am, my characters are all at level 48, what I'm saying, 40, 38, and 37. If you're low level like this, the only chance you have at beating this fight is to actually keep on resetting until the gargoyle starts off the fight with casting a spell. Because otherwise you have no chance.
And then you go, oh hey, he's casting a magic, I should make him the dumb.
Well, yes, you should just make him more stupider. That's another thing about this fight. This is the only fight where you absolutely need to use the status spells with everyone, regardless whether or not they actually are proficient at using them. Simply because with just one person, you're never gonna be able to get him down fast enough to actually get anywhere. And considering how Koudelka normally receives no damage from any spells, and this was already, he had already reduced his stat by, how much was it? 9, 3, 12, yeah, like 15, which is as much as you would get from leveling up your intelligence by, somewhere around 5 levels. A little less than that. That is ridiculous. So, also, the most efficient way of beating this fight is to increase Edward's dexterity, or lower Gargoyle's dexterity, and also focus on lowering Gargoyle's speed up to the point where each and every one of your characters is going to act twice before he does. At this point, you're basically safe. Even if he does more than like a half of damage to your casters with his spells, which he doesn't really use that frequently, you're going to be able to heal yourself before he does that again. Also, it is very important that you actually use that iron crossbow, because yeah, you need your characters to have as much HP as possible. I was lucky enough to actually get an armor for Edward, but sadly nobody else. Not because I couldn't, not because I really wasn't looking, to be honest. That's the one you really need the most. But yeah, now he gets interested in Edward, and also his magical attack will give you all kinds of aids, as you see here. Poison, silence, paralysis.
The whole package, all in one.
Exactly. It actually kind of follows the Actually, the bosses in later Shadow Hearts games follow the similar sort of shtick. Particularly the final bosses, they will always have a ridiculously powerful attack that will give you all kinds of aids.
Now, if only the Naked Lady status effect were in these games.
Sadly, nothing will ever be as awesome as Baroque when it comes to status effects.
Indeed.
Also, lowering his speed is much better than increasing your own, simply because you're gonna waste a lot less magic doing so. Because, you know, when he moves slower, everyone else moves faster. Technically.
Yes. So basically, what the battle plan all points down to is to basically just cripple this guy until he's pretty much crawling on the floor, then pick up sticks and just start hammering him into fucking jelly.
Exactly. The reason why you shouldn't really use, you shouldn't really go for magic in this fight is mainly because you still need Edward to cover for you at all times. So you need to increase his dexterity anyway. Dexterity gives you attack and defense. It's just really a waste to not use his attack for doing this. Besides, you're going to run out of magic much faster than Edward is going to run out of arrows for the crossbow. Also, it doesn't really matter if you actually use the rifles / shotguns / crossbows before this fight, simply because for the crossbow, it doesn't really matter what level you have, what level of proficiency you have, because you can't shoot it. You can shoot it twice or three times in a row. You can only load one crossbow bolt, of course, at the time, because that's just how they work. Why it is categorized as in the same place as rifles and shotguns, whereas swords have to be put in 3 different categories, I have no fucking clue. But yeah, this is basically the rest of the fight. I pressed the fast forward button at the moment the Gargoyle did all of his animations. Otherwise, this fight would have lasted for like half an hour.
Especially since it's taken 10 years to friggin' just nerf him down to your level.
Exactly. And I think at the very end of the fight, I actually demonstrate why you shouldn't use magic. It basically does scratch damage. It's basically the same with with unincreased physical attacks. So basically, you're on the same boat at the very beginning of the fight with both of them. But as I stated, it is a waste of time to to increase your own intelligence, or well, you could be decreasing you could be taking away his pie, but it's also sad that you can get the since he is a boss, he has unlimited magic. So even if you take away all of his pie, he will still have MP.
Huh.
That's just how bosses are in these games.
They have infinite pie.
Well, no, they don't
lucky.
have infinite pie. They have infinite MP.
They have infinite pie. I am jealous.
You're jelly.
Yes.
But yeah, for anyone wondering, the song that I put in the background is actually from a rearranged version of Incantation, which was played on the concert that Hikuta did once with all of the tracks from this game.
Nice.
Yes, this track is probably my favorite of the bunch. I don't really care much for the other rearrangements, but this one is absolutely awesome. And surprisingly enough, it actually is. I don't know if they use the same vocalist, but she sounds a lot like the lady who does basically all of the soundtracks in the Shadow Hearts. I know that one of the composers that later on worked on Shadow Hearts also worked on the soundtrack for this game, although they're all completely different. Actually, it's kind of ironic because this game is supposed to be more survival horror-ish than Shadow Hearts is. However, the soundtrack of Shadow Hearts is a lot more like a survival horror game, or rather, just a horror game in general. It's hard to say. The soundtrack of Shadow Hearts is very bizarre. But yeah, here, it did 13 damage when I used the Megalith. That was pathetic. But yeah, the soundtrack of this game is a lot more like the other games he actually made tracks for, like The Legend of Mana, which is in general just, you know, more like a JRPG, a general JRPG, which whereas Shadow Hearts is a lot more like it sounds a lot more like a survival horror, though. It's kind of funny because they one of the other composers that worked on Shadow Hearts also worked on Resident Evil 2. Yeah, and also Tekken 3.
Weird.
Yeah, but in any case, what you get from this fight is an absolute middle finger, because it is essentially a level up restricted to increasing just your strength.
And that's it.
Yes, like, look at this.
Hooray.
Yes.
You went through all that trouble. Just fucking take it, Edward. No, you're not gonna use it. Nope.
Yeah, it basically increased it by 3 because I looked. So yeah, but this isn't exactly the only thing you get from this fight. However, what you get from it is not exactly, let's say, straightforward right off the bat, that you're, you know, like, oh yeah, now I can do this. And I'm gonna be showing this encounter because we haven't seen these ghosts yet.
Sure.
We've seen that one flying doorknob decoration, but we haven't seen any of the other ones. What are they even supposed to be? What are they even supposed to be? They look like jellyfish.
They're ghost skull fish things.
Ghost skull fish thing?
Yes.
Ghost skull fishing.
Yes.
Ghost skull fishing?
No, ghost skull fisting. Clearly.
But yeah, compared to, like, 13 damage on that thing and 3,000 something on this.
Yeah.
Gargoyle is pretty resistant to everything.
Feels good to be back and kill everything in one shot land.
Exactly. What I found really weird is how little experience the Gargoyle actually gives you. I mean, it didn't even give me a level up. That doesn't happen.
I know. Even Koudelka was disappointed. She was like,
Jesus.
But now you get your level up. Congratulations.
Yes. The ghost fish thingamajigs will give you a level up, but the Gargoyle, no. But yeah, as you see, I wasn't lying about the levels. But now we teleport to this place, which is right next to the exit from the monastery. And we go here, and we pick up our reward. You may remember we weren't able to pick this up before. Saktov. Which is actually a reference to some book, and also the name of the company that made this game. But you will see how incredibly powerful this sword is. Yes, and it's the same class as the Life Drinker, so I already have all of the levels for it. Yes, the wall shall be mine.